Welcome, everybody, to this edition of the Kingdom and its Stories. We're delighted to have you here on the broadcast and podcast today. And our guest today is Angel Barrett. And uh, and I just want to remind everybody that the purpose of this podcast is not to lift up the people that we're interviewing, but to use their testimony of how God is using them to be Jesus' hands and feet to challenge us, the listeners, to understand and to think more deeply about how we might better allow Jesus to use our lives to impact others for his kingdom. And so, Angel, because people don't know who you are, give us the elevator speech. Who is Angel Barrett?
Well, I married into the Barnett family, Pastor Tommy, and Luke Barnett, his oldest son. What a privilege to be a part of this legacy family with big vision and big dreams and the biggest hearts across the city. We started in the Dream Center in LA, and then the Phoenix Dream Center, and then I'm now privileged to be able to serve a very unique dream center that kind of found us. I was raised in a businessman's home in Spokane, Washington. He very much lived a lifestyle of a pastor, really. We were in church as much as any
Mm.
leadership pastoral position could be. And so when I was able to marry into a ministry family, it felt very natural. Being in the home of a businessman and being in the home of a ministry minded people, it's where both worlds collide, and that's where miracles happen. Understanding how hard business people work, and they are the ones that provide for the resources that allow us to go out and help hurting people, and the vision of ministers, and where that is God ordained and driven, and it takes intentionally, God wants both people to working together. That's how the church is the body outside of the building of the church. So I just
Amen.
feel like I've had a privileged life to be in both kinds of homes and be able to translate that into serving people every day.
Angel, what what has that background led you? What kind of ministry has that background led you into personally?
Well, my dad used to say to me all the time, more is expected out of you. I was given such a safe, protected, privileged childhood. And the people that we're serving today have not had a safe, protected, privileged life. They didn't sign up for this. It found them. They were born into it. And what I'm talking about is the 65th wife of Warren Jeffs. Warren Jeffs being the
Say that
infamous.
again.
Yeah, I know. It's always a catcher, right? 65th wife of Warren Jeffs. He had 86 on the border of Utah, Arizona. He's the infamous polygamist FLDS, Fundamental Latter-day Saint. So that is the radical branch of the LDS community in which they is really an embarrassment to their religion. So in the city of Short Creek, encompassing Utah, Arizona, there's 14,000 people throughout its history. America has documented through many shows the history of this. Federal raids have happened in the 50s and the 70s, trying to fix the problem, the polygamy problem. And I won't go too deep into the weeds because we don't literally have the time. So, in a nutshell, the 65th wife, Brielle Decker, very brave, tried to escape 10 times from different compounds around the nation. Very high level, organized crime, really, on labor trafficking and human trafficking, trading women and children. She was drugged and bound and escaped out of a window. She whittled a screw loose, escaped. Long story short, she found her way to the Phoenix Dream Center. She could not believe what she was seeing, that a place that didn't charge you anything, had you come in and was safe, and you had loving people around you, and that was counseling and education and job skill training to independence. And that's the goal of a young lady or mom with many kids. Brielle Decker said, "Will you take the keys to my house? Will you turn it into a dream center?" We're like, "Well, what's your house?" She had been awarded Warren Jeff's house. He was in federal prison in Texas, and she was given the keys to his house because she was brave enough to ask for it. You have not because he asked not. Well, that's an understatement in this case. She says, "I can't afford this house, but there are thousands of more women just like me out there needing to be rescued. Will you take the keys to my house? Will you turn it into a dream center?" We did just that. We've turned that into a place that used to entrap women and children. Now it's a place where women can come and find rescue and restoration. We just had a lady escape trafficking from Texas, get in a car and drive all the way to us in Utah, and knock on
Goodness.
the door and say, "Is this a place that takes in women from human trafficking?" So the need is so big. They're finding us. So we serve women all over the nation, but yes, the special complexities of this particular kind of human trafficking is something that really has not been talked about and maybe more categorized under religion. And it's not. It was systemic and it was forced through punishment, even food. So we do have the Short Creek Dream Center in Colorado City and Hilldale, Utah. They call it Short Creek. And the Dream Institute is the nonprofit that I am privileged to run and oversee. And our staff is incredible. They are bringing people through a year and a half of restoration through all the healing modalities and education, job skill training to independence. We also have a food bank up there that feeds 64% of the town. That's going to be a 2 million pound food drop this year, thanks to Convoy of Hope. Also, St. Mary's Food Bank. We could not break the food insecurity problem without them. When you remove a socialistic dictator out of a community, and you take away independence and free thinking, you have an implosion, a socioeconomic implosion. So we're not just coming in with a typical Dream Center style of serving people. It is an complete socioeconomic rebooting. And God has been so faithful to bring business people around us to make what we're doing possible. So, what a privilege to be able to serve women and children. Here's the difference: they stay together, they heal together. We do not separate women from their children, and many programs are not licensed to keep them together. And it's more expensive to have the kind of license that we do. So, we are so excited that we're about the family, restoration, healing, and independence. So that's what we're getting to do right now.
Yeah, Angel, tell us a little bit about the concept of the Dream Center in general, and then how this Dream Center is uniquely different from the general concept.
Yeah, when my father-in-law started the Los Angeles Dream Center, I mean, what a beacon of hope on a hill, literally. Queen of Angels Hospital, where people coming off the streets, Skid Row, addictions, recovery, a place of safety. But you know what? It's hard work. That's why you still see people on the street. Sometimes you're like, "Hey, do you know about the Dream Center?" And they're like, "Yep." It's a lot of work. We don't want to do it. You have to give up your phone. People can't track you. You have to remove yourself from the triggers that are at your doorstep there. So the concept is just find a need and fill it, find a hurt and heal it. My father-in-law kind of coined that phrase, and we've adopted that as our go-to. The Phoenix Dream Center then really launched into serving people within the complexities of anti-human sex trafficking. They have facial recognition cameras. They work with the FBI, Homeland Security, educational initiatives. They take off tattoos. They help people with their eyes, their ears. There's a medical center The Halley Foundation is right there in the Phoenix Dream Center. And so high level of care because the complexities and the traumas are so complex. So that is where the Dream Center Phoenix has really kind of expanded its services. And then the Short Creek Dream Center, finding us, has once again surged us into a space that we didn't go looking for. We didn't know what is familial trafficking, what is religious trafficking. Well, it's not just the FLDS. This is happening all over America under any religion based on the fear of your eternal salvation. People, men mostly, are using that fear to make compliance exploitation happen. So many atrocities are happening all over the nation. And the FBI is saying that the Short Creek Dream Center is the only place that exists that has the success within the religious and the in the familial trafficking. So, we didn't know what we were going to be able to have success in. That was God ordained, and he took us in a place where he wanted to make sure that we all know that everyone matters. People matter. And I know it's not just a religious thing. This is something that was so complex. We put our blinders on and we acted like they didn't exist. And God sees them. And for the first time in 100 years, God has allowed the church to go in there and serve people with no string
Angel,
attached.
I'm just, taken aback by the potential numbers that you're talking about nationally.
Mm.
Do you have an idea of, from the work that you've been doing, how pervasive this is? I mean, and, I've heard about the Utah, of course, that was in national news, but you're talking about this, being maybe extant across the country. Give us an idea of how serious an issue this is.
I think it goes much deeper than we realize because I think we're starting to wake up and stop calling this a religion with um, with compliance. This is trafficking. So now that we understand what trafficking is, making someone do something that they don't want to do, and reaping the financial benefits from it. For example, India has 96,000 missing children. America has 460,000. Yes, those numbers went up. 460,000 missing children. So America is number one in the world for human trafficking. Yes,
America.
America. Now we are the most expensive, and this is why there's a supply and demand. So it is the money is here and the demand is here. And everyone, yes, international, your money goes a lot further, but it's very brave for people to invest in America because the price is 10 times of what it costs to serve people internationally. We have got to get our homeland straight before we go out and start helping other people. People are starting to come to America going, this is a mission field. Human trafficking lives right next door to you in your $1 million home. It lives on your phone. It's in your high school, but it also is representative of high crime. It's on the reservation, represented in the cartel. People need to bankroll their home, so they will find a perpetrator online or a cartel. They will give their children in marriage over to someone who will promise to bankroll the household. They will give their daughter to this person, older person, and this we've had absolute real contacts. So we this is a fact, and this is a form of human trafficking. So when you get into even the different religious sects that are forcing people to do things, that this is slave labor and slavery on a level that I don't think it's right under our nose. And because we're busy, productive Americans, it can pass you by every single day. So awareness is the first step. The church coming around a dream center. A dream center without a church is broken, and vice versa, because the community comes around the families that are healing, that don't have a family in their life, a single mom and many children. The church comes around them, and advocates for them and mentors them. That's where true life change happens. And God bless the men and women that extract, that are brave enough to be the frontline officers, but they are so grateful for us. If you extract someone from human trafficking and only 1% ever gets found and extracted, where do they go? Well, you don't just put them back into society and they're going to be okay. They don't even know how to function, work, breathe, let alone pay for an apartment. So having a year and a half at the Dream Center allows them to ground themselves, get the counseling they need, talk about the educational gap marks, and then talk about job skill training, and then partnering with corporate organizations that are going to be a bridge of employment. So these are all things that the Dream Institute is working on right now.
So, Angel, how many people, um, I don't want to call them clients because that sounds,
We call them residents because they're family members.
okay,
Yeah.
good. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
for giving me the term.
Yeah.
How many residents do you have in the Utah Center?
We have 260 women and children that we take through a program a year. We also have two homes for women that are pregnant in Show Low, Arizona. That is an incredible opportunity for women who decide I can keep my baby now because maybe I can afford daycare and I'm going to get educated, and the rest of everyone in her life is telling her to abort the baby. We get to take away all those barriers and say, no, we are here to surround you. You can keep your babies. So we've got moms and children and pregnant moms going through our two homes in Show Low, Arizona. And then this is the new exciting news. Joyce Meyer Ministry, already a huge supporter of the Dream Institute, has purchased acreage in Mount Pleasant, Utah. They intend to have a legacy ministry place, show and tell, because they're very internationally placed. But Joyce Meyer says this is our country, and I'm going to invest here. And we have a problem, and we want to be on the solution side of the problem. She's given Dream Institute 80 acres, and we are literally moving dirt right now as we speak. We're going to be building an intake lodge for 44 more women and children, but then we're going to build a tiny home community, pods of neighborhood community home environment. Our directors are always husband and wife. What that does is simulate what a healthy marriage looks like, how a man is to treat a lady and raise children. So we try to simulate home, family, values, getting back to the basics. So what a privilege to partner with Joyce Meyer Ministry. We can expand our housing again on top, another 160.
Angel, tell us some stories that are of individual people who've been rescued, and so that we can get a sense and on a story basis
Yes.
of how God has enabled the Dream Center to rescue the people Jesus died for.
Absolutely. So I'll tell two stories. One is of our Show Low center, and there was a young lady in Denver, and her sister. She was talking to her sister, and she was trapped with her abuser. She was pregnant, and she had a 4-year-old son locked up in a room his entire life. Had never celebrated a birthday. He was held underwater. He was bit, so he in turn bit, and her sister was found us, talked to us, and she made a radical escape literally at gunpoint. So she risked her life because she knew she was going to die anyway, and she got away and came to us. Sometimes it's frontline officers, sometimes it's us assisting in when we feel it's safe, and then sometimes people are able to escape and they come to us. This happened, and her precious little boy, for the first time, he was biting the other children for a few, just he did never experienced a healthy relationship. So we were able to decompress that situation and help him learn how to treat other people. And we were able to celebrate a fourth year birthday party, his first party ever, to watch a little boy open his presents for the first time, and for mom to be pregnant. And she gave birth in a safe place at the hospital. And and for there to be other moms and children in the house that were like sisters now and a support system. They're safe, they're getting educated, going to college, working part-time, people giving cars so they have transportation. That's just one story. And then you have a radical side of story. 2 years ago, the FBI was able to sting a Samuel Bateman. This is in the local news, Arizona Times. He has 33 wives, so he was shipping seven of them in a horse trailer to Mesa for sexual favors. So him and the father of the girls and the man who funded it have all been put in prison, and they are paying a heavy price, and this is what needs to start happening. So shipping them in a trailer locked on the outside with a bucket to use the restroom on the inside. This going down the road, people saw fingers sticking out of a horse trailer. That is what, allowed the FBI to come in and make this happen. So the Dream Center, Shore Creek Dream Center, along with many other social service providers, we all came together and served these young ladies as they were rescued. This is a long, sticky road forward, but to see people find safety and start building trust. Those are the two radical, polarizing stories that we're able to interact with.
Th- Are you talking about a horse trailer? This is
Yes, yes, a
this
horse
was
trailer.
the confinement.
Yes.
Um,
So he would use a horse trailer to transport them, and it's like sexual favors, videoing, all of the perversion. We are too busy in America to look around and say something and be aware. So yeah, this is what we're going to be on the solution side of the problem. You know what? And it's a dark story, but there's hope because people are resilient. Brielle Decker said, we asked her in an interview, what do you want the world to know about the people in Colorado City? She says, I want them to know we are not victims. We are more than conquerors. We are resilient and we have hope, dreams for our future. So we, the Dream Institute, wants to be the wind in their sails. They didn't sign up for this. This could have been you or me. Who's to say why it wasn't us? And wouldn't we want someone to come alongside us with dignity and serve them and give them the chance at life that we didn't have to muddle through? So that's the way I feel that we're excited we get to stand in that place to advocate for people who really didn't sign up for this life.
yeah, Angel, I just, I feel like I might be more educated about this kind of thing than most people, but
Mm.
your story is blowing me away. I mean, how can this be happening around us at the level that you're saying that we're just unaware of? I don't, it's hard for me to comprehend.
True. We deal in the extreme. That's your high crime kind of situation. But your everyday trafficking people every day need to know the parties they go to, the young people. As soon as they are drugged, pictures are taken, exploitation happens. Then they're lock ins, they're suicidal, they can't go to work anymore. We're going to show your parents what you did. They're forced to do these things. And it's Desert Ridge, it's at the Fashion Square Mall. The predators are so ahead of us in their tactics and the strategies. They groom the girls with boyfriends, with buying them all the things they think that they value, Chanel and this and that, and then they'll tattoo them, brand them, groom them, and these girls literally think that this is a dream come true. So that is a version that lives right under our nose within the
It's hell coming
cultural
true.
the cultural demand for consumerism. It sets the traffickers up for complete success.
Angel, we have just about 60 seconds left in our broadcast. It's gone a lot faster than I thought it would, but we have a lot of listeners.
Mm.
What what can you tell them to help them be more aware and to how can they ask the Lord how he could use them to address this horrible situation in our culture.
Right. Well, there's five pillars of service within trafficking, and church really is at the tip of the spear. If your church doors can make people of all walks of life feel welcome and included. I think that's the first step. Even a lady who's had an abortion, she sits there. 40% of your congregation is sitting there in shame because we're not talking about abortion. Yes, you've had one, but there is post-abortive care programs. So, it starts within the community, seeing, understanding, not judging. It's also throughout your day, keep your eyes open and aware, knowing that these phones have absolutely exploded the trafficking situation, and that we need more housing. We need more long-term comprehensive trauma-informed wraparound service housing. It's expensive. There's not enough of us. And please, corporate responsibility, church inclusion, anyone who has a program, they need your help. Thank you so
Angel
much.
Barnett, thank you so
Thank
much
you. Thank
for
you.
being with us today. God bless you, and may He use your testimony
Thank you.
to help us be better hands and feet of Jesus in our individual situations.
Amen.